Level 1, loser.
You have to find a way to open this. The power of this book.
I'm tired of losing, of being weak. I've been a failure my whole life. Not anymore. Controlled by my thoughts?
Quintal, it's time for you to go to military school.
It's so bright. What's happening to me?
Final testing group: Quintal, Peter Chuck, Vorden Blade, Layla Monroe, and Aaron Healy. Wait, what was your ability again?
Vorden Blade, level 5, Quintalon, level 1. You have unlocked a new quest.
This isn't good.
Who do you think you are, level 1? Quintalon is hiding something. We'll see what he becomes.
Opponent for 50 experience.
That's not an easy way to level up.
"You weak piece of garbage!" the student shouted and came charging forward. Quickly, he slashed his hand out at Quinn. Luckily, Quinn's increased stats allowed him to lift his arm in time to block the attack. However, the student's hand managed to slice right through a part of Quinn's arm, drawing blood. HP 8 of 10. It appeared that the bully had a transformation ability. The ability had changed his hands to tiger claws and had hardened his nails. As the student swung his right hand, Quinn managed to duck and throw a punch of his own into the student's stomach. The student maneuvered his way around Quinn, moving quicker than he looked. His claws slashed at Quinn's unprotected back, injuring him once more. HP 6 of 10. "Shut up, I know!" Quinn shouted as he lifted the student using both of his hands by the legs and threw him up against the side of the wall. How did Quinn manage to pick him up like that? First fight has been completed. 50 EXP received. 70 of 100 EXP. Is he dead? If he attacks you again, he's going to wish he was. Additional quest reward. Skill unlocked. Level 1 inspect. Quinn then decided to test his new skill and looked at Peter, who was standing next to him. Name: Peter Chuck. Race: human. Ability: none. HP: 3 of 5. Blood type: A+. There was one bit of information that Quinn found very strange, and that was the blood type. It was weird for the system to give him information about such a specific thing. "Quinn, I think we better go. Go before someone comes along. You have received an optional quest. Drink the blood of your victim to absorb a stat point." What the? Is this thing crazy? The very idea of it made Quinn feel sick. Still, when looked to the ground where Kyle had spat out some of his blood, he felt magically drawn to the red liquid. Maybe a little bit wouldn't hurt. No, I shouldn't do it. You're going crazy, Quinn. Stop it. Quinn! As the two continued to walk down the hallway, Quinn started to feel a strange surge through his body. "Hey, let's go to the doctor. I'm sure the military must have a healer. You don't have to come with me. I can reach there on my own. It will be a busy day tomorrow, so why don't you head back to the dorm?" Although Peter was worried about Quinn, Peter didn't want to stick in the halls for much longer where other students were able to see him. He also had an irrational fear that someone would link them with the injured boy down the hallway. "Look, don't worry, I'll be fine. I appreciate you looking out for me," Quinn encouraged. With that, Peter quickly rushed off and headed back to the dorms, making sure to cover up his wristwatch most of the time as well. He didn't want to stumble into another bully. Quinn, on the other hand, immediately rushed to the nearest boys' toilet just down the hall. When he entered the toilet, his eyes went to his arm, where Kyle's claws had left an ugly cut. Quinn examined his hand closely. Something strange was happening. He could literally watch his arm healing in real time. Though it looked slow, in reality, it was incredibly fast. For someone to be able to actually witness his skin scabbing over and healing was an amazing sight. Eventually, the wound on his arm and back had healed completely and only the rips on his shirt were left. HP 10 of 10. Your HP has recovered. Your hunger has grown. Does this mean the system uses food to heal my wounds? I guess it makes sense. The energy has to come from somewhere. Quinn thought as he felt himself getting hungry. It was as if he had just missed breakfast or something. He finally reached the training room in the academy, a large oval dome-like building with a huge empty space in the middle. At the edges of the room were rows and rows of technological equipment. The one thing he was interested in was the power level testing equipment. Inside the training center, Quinn had also spotted the same machinery that had been used at the testing field. Unbeknownst to Quinn, Layla had also snuck to the training room before Quinn had entered. She had come to test out her bow and arrow skills. Isn't that the boy I took the test with? If I remember correctly, he had no ability. Layla recognized him, although she could not recall his name. Layla continued to watch Quinn as he approached the large drum. "Let's see," Quinn said to himself as he circled his right arm to warm it up. When he punched the drum, a number appeared on the drum and slowly started to rise until it eventually stopped at 10. "Seems like I was on the mark." Layla, who had been watching from behind one of the robots, also noticed Quinn's new score. Quinn started the test, weaving and dodging through the spikes. Unlike out in the fields, he felt more agile as the spikes whizzed past him. When the test was done, he lasted exactly 20 seconds. With Quinn having confirmed his results, there was nothing left for him to do but head back to the dorm and wait for the next day to start. Layla only had one thought while she looked at Quinn. Maybe there will be a use for him. She decided that from now on, she would keep a close eye on Quinn. The next day, at 8 a.m., the students were woken up by the sound of an alarm in the dorm rooms. It was the signal for everyone to get dressed and start the day. Once everyone was ready, they were to head down to the canteen for breakfast. When Quinn woke up, the system was the first thing that greeted him. Daily quest number 2 has been completed. 5 EXP received. 75 of 100 EXP. Quinn was thankful for this convenient way of gaining 5 EXP without actually having to do anything but sleep. Suddenly, a rumbling sound came from his belly. He felt hungrier than he usually was, as if something was biting through his stomach. Must still be from the fight yesterday. Quinn noticed that low levels sat next to the other low levels, while the high levels sat with the high levels. His school life had just begun, and yet the social norm appeared to have already been established, just like it had been in his old school. While Quinn was waiting in line with Peter and Vorden, a student came late into the queue. He nonchalantly walked past his peers and eventually cut into the line ahead of the rest. Not a single person said a word in protest. The reason for this was simple. The offender had a higher power level than them. Quinn hated these types of actions, but right now there was nothing he could do. Once the three of them got their food, they started looking for a place to eat. "Why don't we go over there?" Vorden pointed at an empty spot. "Are you sure, Vorden? That's a level 1 area. You don't have to sit with us if you don't want to, right, Quinn?" "Yeah, don't force yourself." "Quit talking nonsense, you two. We're friends. I don't care about this stupid power level hierarchy going on." The three of them then went to sit down with the other lower levels on a table. The area slowly started to fill up, but nobody else had decided to sit at their table. Everyone could see his high power level, so the other low levels wanted to stay away, fearing he would bully them. As soon as they sat down, Quinn started to dig in without any regard for table manners, eating everything that was given to him, even the bits he usually didn't like. Quinn ended up not only eating all of his food, but also the leftovers from his two friends. On top of that, Quinn also had grabbed 8 bottles of water, as he wanted to finish his other daily quest as soon as possible. The last time when he had been in the sun, he had sweated far more than usual, but thanks to the water he drank beforehand, he hadn't felt too dehydrated. "For a skinny guy, you sure know how to gorge yourself." Although Quinn had clearly eaten a lot, for some reason he still felt a little pang of hunger that wouldn't quite go away. Daily quest number 1 has been completed. Reward 5 EXP, 80 of 100 EXP. Now there were only 20 points separating him from his first level up. He recalled that he had received the Inspect skill as an additional quest reward from his fight yesterday. He turned to Vorden and decided to use it on him. Name, Vorden Blade. Race, human. Ability, none. HP, 10 of 10. Blood type, O negative. Quinn paused for a second as he read over what he was seeing. For some reason, the system was stating that Vorden had no ability. "Hey, Vorden, can you still use Aaron's ice powers at the moment?" "Wow, I didn't know you were so interested in me. Actually, my ability resets every day, and I haven't touched anyone today." They continued to talk for a bit until another alarm notified them that breakfast was over and that class would start soon. Vorden decided to sit at the back of the class with the level 1s and 2s, between Peter and Quinn. The other students noticed this behavior and quickly started to talk amongst themselves. "What does he think he's doing sitting with those bottom feeders? I saw him sit with them in the canteen as well. Won't this cause a problem for the hierarchy at school? Won't the second-year students start to do something? Yeah, if he keeps breaking the rules, then they will definitely step in. The ones at the top didn't really have a problem with this kind of system. The people with lower power levels would do anything they asked them to do just to curry favor with them, hoping that one day they could increase their power level. Anyone who tried to upset this power system was usually quickly silenced. It was the primary reason the group known as Pure existed in the first place. They wanted to fight against this system and re-establish dignity for all humans. When we were about to lose the Great War against the Dalki, Del began, his voice rising to capture the rapturous moment, his eyes blazing, that was when they came forward. The originals. These humans had kept their abilities hidden for hundreds of years, only passing them down to their family members. Thanks to them sharing their abilities with the rest of humanity, we were able to reverse the tide of war and beat back the Dalki. When we talk about an original today, we're either referring to the founders of that ability or a member of one of the groups who have refused to share their abilities with the rest of the world. We might live in a time of peace at the moment, but who knows when the war will start again. That is why you are here. Once the class had finished, it was time for the students to take a break. Vorden, Quinn, and Peter headed outside to grab a snack. As soon as Quinn stepped outside, the dreaded message appeared. All stats have been halved. Hey, are you all right? You look sick again. Yeah, I just get hot easily. A group of 6 male students approached them. We have some business to discuss with the 3 of you. Do you mind coming with us? Quinn, Peter, and Vorden were escorted by the second-year students to a separate part of the school. Should we just run? It might just make the situation worse. If they were going to do something to us, they would have waited until we were on our own. They must have intentionally done this in public to make a statement to all the others. We brought them here, Momo. You guys can leave. Some rumors have reached my ears of a high-level student hanging around with a bunch of low-levels. So what? Is it against the rules? Quinn couldn't help but notice Momo's wristwatch, which displayed the number 6. Momo then walked over to Quinn. You see, the moment you start treating this like they are useful to society, they might start to get a big head. Now that Momo was close enough to Quinn, he tried to use his inspect skill on the older student, but for some reason the status screen was blurry. Is it because I'm out in the sun? Look at this. I'm only a few feet away from him, and there isn't even an ounce of fear in his eyes. Quinn's blood started to boil. He despised the war, as it had taken everything away from him, including his parents. Unable to hold his anger in any longer, he threw out a punch. Alas, Momo appeared to have been able to predict his action. Before Quinn had even begun his attack, the older student had taken a step back, making Quinn's fist hit nothing but air. Vorden took this chance to try and grab onto Momo. However, once again Momo had reacted in advance, resulting in Vorden grabbing nothing. I didn't come here to fight you guys. Consider today to be a friendly warning. There are people in this school that not even the military can touch, and if you continue acting this way, they will get involved. With that, Momo headed back up the stairs. Why don't the teachers do something to stop it? With the strong bullying the weak, the latter will try to find a way to become strong themselves. However, if you're weak to begin with and can't rely on your family to help you, where can you go to get this power? The military. Exactly. After experiencing hell for 2 years, your mind will likely have been broken down. In that state, you might do anything to seek power and protection, and the military can offer that for you. I'm sorry, Vorden, but I think it might be for the best if we comply with their wishes and go our separate ways for now. Why should I listen to them? When we break their rules, they probably won't do anything to you. It will be me and Peter they will go for. Fine, have it your way. Vorden was angry, but not at Quinn's words. It seemed that even here, people were dictating how he should live his life, who he could and who he couldn't hang out with. Still, Vorden didn't want Quinn and Peter to get hurt, so he regretfully accepted this as the right choice. Nevertheless, Vorden wasn't going to just let these people get away with trying to control his life. No, he was going to go after them all. Layla had been tracking Quinn and the others for a while now. From afar, she had been watching their encounter with Mono. It was kind of amazing how much attention Quinn managed to attract in a single day. The only thing that Layla was confused about was why Quinn's punch had been so slow and weak. Just before they got back to the first-year building, they came upon a group of first-year students standing in front of the staircase. What are we going to do? Dan asked for 50 credits by the end of this week. He's picking on us just because we're weaker than him. Credits were the school's and city's currency system. There were restaurants and shops and even fun activities and games to play all around the city. However, they cost credits. The military school didn't want their students to starve, so all 3 meals were free while at the school. Additionally, each student received a daily amount of 10 credits, which was automatically sent to their wristwatch. It was possible for students to earn more credits for rewards, usually by performing well on missions or school activities. "Wait, stop right there, you two. I think I might just have solved our credits problem," the first boy said, grinning. "Lucky us to meet some of the few level 1s in this whole school. Hand over 10 credits each, and we'll let you head inside." "But that's all the credits we have." "Hand over the credits, now." Peter looked at Quinn with some slight hope in his eyes, perhaps thinking that his friend might be able to do something like last time. Unfortunately, after trying to hit Mono, he knew better than to try and fight them. "An enemy ability user has been detected. You have received a new quest. Second fight, defeat the student known as Rylee. Reward 50 EXP. A power level difference of 1 has been detected. Additional EXP will be rewarded." The first thing Quinn needed to do was get inside so he could use his inspect skill and find out which one was named Rylee. For now, Quinn decided to hand over the 10 credits. He placed his watch on the other boys and the credits got transferred over. "If you pull this sort of thing again on me, Rylee, you're dead," Quinn said, and gestured with his hand a cutthroat. "What the hell did you say to me, you little—" "Run!" Quinn shouted towards Peter. Like a bolt of lightning, the two friends ran as fast as they could to their next class. At least, he now knew which one Rylee was, so he only had to wait for the right opportunity. "You're going to help me level up," he mumbled to himself with a grin. Peter and Quinn had done their best to avoid most other students after everything they had been through. Fortunately, luck finally had smiled upon them, and nobody had troubled them. Once classes had finished, it was time to go for dinner. Quinn noticed he still had this pang of hunger in his stomach, so he was looking forward to dinner with enthusiasm. This time, Quinn and Peter both sat on their own at a table in the low-level area. "I don't see Vorden anywhere. Do you think he's okay?" "I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think we both know that he is a lot safer than us at this school." To their surprise, Vorden was already in the dorm room, lying on his own bed. "I wanted to apologize for earlier. I wasn't angry at you guys, but just at this whole situation." When Vorden got up from the bed, Quinn noticed a bruise on the side of their friend's face. It was slightly red and a little swollen. "What happened to your face?" Peter asked. "Oh, this?" Vorden touched the marking. "I got into a little scuffle of my own, but don't worry, I didn't lose." A loud growling noise escaped from Quinn's stomach, shifting the topic. "Sorry, I guess I'm still hungry after dinner. Why don't you grab something from the convenience store? It's not too far away." Although he would have liked to buy himself a snack, he had no credits after their earlier encounter. Before he could even say anything, Vorden had come over and tapped his watch against Quinn's. "Transfer of 10 credits successful," the notification sounded. "Don't refuse, man. Just take it as my apology and go grab something." "Thanks." Quinn left Peter and Vorden on their own and rushed off to the convenience store. Once past the gates, Quinn decided to test out how much 10 stamina points really were. He noticed while running at night, he could see everything very clearly. Even when there were no streetlights, it was as if the moon had lightened everything up. A type of night vision of sorts. "Your hunger grows slightly." I know. Annoyed, Quinn waved it away. "I will deal with that in a moment." Once Quinn entered the convenience store, he grabbed a few of his favorite snacks. That was when he suddenly spotted Rylee and his friends in the same store. "Here, I thought I would have to track him down, but it seems like he's come right to me." As he waited, he looked around him, only to notice that next to him were a lot of masks. Quinn waited until he heard Rylee and the others leave the store, then he grabbed the mask and snacks and placed them on the counter. Ironically, while Quinn had been busy stalking Rylee and his friends, he completely ignored the only other person in the store, Layla. "What the— We're months away from Halloween, so what is he doing buying a mask like that?" She decided to continue to follow Quinn and see what he was up to. "I think I'll just head back and wait by the school gate, see if there are any more suckers I can leech some credits from." Rylee started to head back to school and passed through a small park on the way back. The area was completely void of people at this time and had very little lighting. There were also plenty of trees for Quinn to hide behind. It's showtime. Quinn hyped himself up as he put on the mask. Quinn continued to follow Rylee through the woody area of the park, waiting for him to get a good spot before ambushing him. Making sure that nobody else was around, he got ready to strike. Even if he spots me now, he won't know who to come back to for revenge. Rylee, oblivious to the fact that he had company, went through the information on his watch. The glowing light displayed his total of 80 credits. I'm a genius. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. Rylee was still lost in his daydream when out of nowhere something hit him from the side. He felt the impact on his face and staggered to the floor, holding his chin. When he looked up from where he had fallen, he saw the silhouette of a boy standing over him with a horrifying mask. Under the moonlight, it looked like real blood, making Rylee panicked. What the heck? Who are you? Quinn would be stupid to answer this question. He wanted to finish the fight fast. He ran up to Rylee and threw another kick. Alas, this time Rylee was prepared and lifted his hands, managing to block the kick. What's worse, when Quinn's leg hit Rylee's hands, it felt as if he had kicked against solid rock. God damn it! You must be one of the students I took credits from earlier. Let me guess, you thought you could get some revenge, huh? Nice try, but that's all it was. Name, Rylee Blade. Race, human. Ability, hardening. HP, 8 of 10. Blood type, B+. Although Quinn's initial surprise attack hadn't been enough, he still felt like he could win this fight. He charged in once again, this time throwing a fist. The attack was faster than Rylee had expected, not giving him time to use his hardening skill, and therefore taking the blow right in the face. Quinn threw another punch with his other hand, but Rylee had predicted this, and had managed to harden his face in time. When the fist hit the hardened face, once again Quinn felt like he was hitting a rock. Your fist is broken. 7 of 10 HP. Quinn screamed in pain and stepped back, creating some distance between the two. Damn, what am I meant to do if he keeps hardening his body? Most likely Rylee was only able to harden a single part of his body at a time. It was just a theory, but Quinn had nothing to lose, and this gave him a plan. He ran forward at Rylee once more, shouting, I'm going to punch that ugly face of yours, even if it's the last thing I do.
Quinn's desperate gamble has put everything on the line. Will his theory about Rylee's hardening ability be correct? Can he overcome his injuries and take down his opponent? Find out in the next episode.
Subscribe to the Pocket FM Blockbuster YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notifications. Check out our channel for more exciting shows.